Hey everyone, if you enjoy our stories, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like the video. Your support means a lot to us. My name is Daniel Reed. I'm a 26-year-old delivery driver and I live in a quiet small town called Red Lake. Our town has only one park, Fisher Park. It looks normal during the day, a small lake, a playground with 2 swings, a red slide, and a forest line behind it. But at night, everything changes. People say kids from long ago still play there, even after death. I never believed such stories. Ghosts? Come on. I'm a practical person. But everything changed one night when I chose to take a shortcut through the park, a shortcut that nearly killed me. The shortcut. It was late, around 11:45 p.m. I had one last delivery before finishing my shift. The road to the customer's house was blocked due to construction, so I had to walk through Fisher Park. The air was cold. The wind kept shaking the swings. The sound was sharp like crying metal. Creak, creak, creak. I wrapped my jacket tighter and walked faster. I passed the bench where old men play chess during the day. There were many. I was surrounded. It looked like someone was sitting there, but when I blinked, only their breathing. There were maybe I was tired, heavy, animal-like. When I reached the playground, suddenly I heard a loud whistle. Children Everything laughing. Froze. The children disappeared like smoke. I spun around to see who blew the whistle. It was an old park keeper. Pale, tall, wearing a dirty uniform. He stared at me with cold eyes. "You shouldn't be here at night," he said darkly. "I know," I stuttered. "I was just passing through. Who were the—" He cut me off. "Go. Now." His voice was deep and angry. I didn't argue. I ran. But before I left the park, he shouted, "If you ever see that little girl again, run faster." That night I couldn't sleep. I tried to think logically. Maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe I'm losing my mind. But deep down, I knew what I saw was real. The children of the playground weren't alive. And the girl in the white dress, she was the worst of them. The missing children. The next day, I went to the local library. I needed answers. I found old news articles about the park. My hands shook as I read. 5 children went missing in Fisher Park. Bodies never found. Another article. Park keeper arrested, suspected of harming children. No evidence found. Released later. One more. Parents report ghostly sightings in playground. I felt sick. This wasn't a ghost story. I saw last night, he was in the old photo. Same face, same uniform, but he looked younger in the photo. How could that be? She followed me home. 4 nights later, I heard tapping on my bedroom window. I looked outside. My heart nearly stopped. The little girl from the park was standing on the porch, her hair covering her face. Her white dress dirty, wet. Tap, tap, tap. She lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were empty black holes. She smiled a wide, unnatural smile, stretching her mouth up to her ears. "Play," she whispered. I jumped back. "No, no, leave me alone." But she whispered again. "Play with us, Daniel." She knew my name. A sharp scream came from behind me. I turned and saw nothing. When I looked back at the window, she was gone. The return to the park, I couldn't run from this. The park had chosen me, so I decided to go back and end it, or die trying. Around midnight, I returned to Fisher Park holding a flag. Fog covered the ground. The swings moved again. Creak, creak, creak. I walked slowly to the sandbox. The footprints were still there. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my ankle from the sand. I screamed. Another hand, another, and another. They were trying to pull me under. I kicked and pulled, desperate. The flashlight fell, rolling, flickering. Shadow children rose from the sandbox, screaming like animals. The little girl appeared on the slide, her head twitching unnaturally. "You came back," she hissed. "Now you will stay forever." The park keeper appeared again, whistle in mouth. He blew it hard. The children shrieked and vanished. The ground released me. I crawled away, shaking. The park keeper lifted me up by my shirt. "Listen carefully," he growled. "They want to replace the 5 who died. Each year, they choose someone new. Tonight, they chose you." I swallowed hard, terrified. "Why are you helping me?" I asked. His expression changed, sadness in his old eye. "Because I couldn't save them back then, but I can save you." He pulled a silver key from his pocket. "Lock the gate," he ordered. "Never come back." I nodded and ran as fast as I could, shaking and crying. I locked the gate with trembling hands. When I turned to thank him, he was gone, like he never existed. Epilogue. 1 year later. It has been 1 year. I never walked near that park again. But tonight, I received a letter with no address. Inside, A picture of me taken from behind at the park gate, and written in a child's handwriting, "Your turn next year." The swings move outside right now. I hear giggling, almost midnight. The playground never sleeps, and the children are waiting for me. My name is Adam Keller, and until last year I loved going on evening walks in Greenwood Park. It was a peaceful place, a pond with ducks, tall trees, and a long path around the park. But now I can't even drive past it, because I met him there, a stranger who waits every night on the same broken park bench. And if you ever look him in the eyes, you never leave the park alive. Evening routine. Every day after work, I went to Greenwood Park. Walking helped me relax. No stress, no noise, just the cool air and silence. There were always a few people around, runners, dog walkers, families on weekends. But on weekdays at around 9 p.m., the park became almost empty. Just three things remained: the chirping of crickets, the street light above the old wooden bench, and the man sitting there, always staring down. He wore a long black coat, even in summer. His hat always covered his face. He sat completely still, like a statue. The first time I noticed him, I thought, maybe he's waiting for someone. But days passed, then weeks. He never moved, never talked, never looked up, just sat on that bench like he belonged to the darkness. Don't look at him. One night, I was leaving the park when the security guard stopped me. "You stay late," he said. "Be careful around that man." He pointed toward the bench. I laughed awkwardly. "Yeah, he's interesting." The guard's face turned serious. "Don't joke," he said quietly. "Don't look at him. Don't talk to him. Just act like he doesn't exist." His warning chilled me. I wanted to ask more, but he quickly walked away. Why was everyone afraid of that man? Curiosity started growing inside me, a dangerous curiosity. Midnight whispers. A week later, my life took a dark turn. I finished a late shift. It was past midnight. The park was faster than taking the main road, so I entered. Bad decision. Fog rolled across the grass. The air was heavy. I could barely see the path. That's when I heard a voice behind me. "Adam." I froze. Who said my name? I turned around slowly. The strange man on the bench was standing, his head still lowered, face hidden by the hat. He whispered again, voice like cracking bones, "Sit with me." Panic hit me. How did he know my name? I stepped back, but he took one long step toward me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't scream. I ran. Branches slapped my face as I sprinted out of the park. I didn't look back until I reached the road. He wasn't following. But I knew this wasn't over. The newspaper. The next morning I searched online. Nothing about strange men or crimes in the park, so I looked for old news, and I found something. Man murdered on park bench, identity unknown, killer never found. 1995, below the headline was a photo. The same bench, same hat, same long coat, the victim or the killer. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Maybe that man was a ghost, sitting where he died, or something much worse. He won't stop that night. I locked every door and window. Around 2 a.m. the phone rang, unknown number. I didn't pick it up, but it left a voicemail. I pressed play. Static filled the speaker, then a whisper crawled into my ears. "Look at me." My heart nearly stopped. I deleted the message immediately. Then another voicemail appeared. "Look at me." His voice was angry this time, deep, inhuman. I threw the phone on the table and backed away. Footsteps echoed outside my house. Slow, heavy, coming closer. I didn't check who it was. I just hid under my blanket like a terrified child. The footsteps stopped at my bedroom window. Silence, and then a slow tapping. Tap, tap, tap. I closed my eyes tight and prayed for morning. The truth from the guard. At first light, I ran to Greenwood Park. I found the security guard near the entrance. "You knew he would follow me," I yelled. The guard's eyes were tired, full of fear. "He chooses someone new every few months," he whispered. "Someone who notices him, someone curious." "So what does he want?" The guard swallowed hard. "He wants you to see his face. If you do." He didn't finish. He didn't need to. My stomach twisted. "What happened to the others?" I asked. He shook his head. "They disappeared. Their cars still in the parking lot, phones on the ground. But them? They never left the park." A cold shiver ran down my back. "Is he dead?" I asked quietly. The guard whispered, "I don't think he was ever human." Broken reality. From that day, I changed. I quit my job, stopped going out at night. I taped curtains over every window, but still, he found ways to remind me. One night, I opened my fridge. A piece of paper was inside. On it, a drawing, a park bench, and a man with no face. He was holding hands with me. I dropped the paper and screamed. Another night, I turned on my TV. All the channels showed the same thing, a live view of Greenwood Park, zooming in slowly toward the bench, toward him. He raised his head toward the screen slowly, as if he could see me watching. The TV turned black. Then 2 words appeared, "Tonight, come." I smashed the TV with a chair, shaking. But deep inside, I knew I had to go back. The final meeting, midnight. The park was waiting. The air felt dead. The streetlight above the bench flickered. He was sitting there again, motionless, hat down. I walked closer, heart pounding so hard it hurt. "Why me?" I whispered. He didn't respond. "What do you want?" I screamed. He stood up, slowly, creaking like old wood. Then, he lifted his head. I dropped to my knees. His face wasn't a face. It was a dark pit of endless nothing, like looking into a grave where light cannot survive. I couldn't breathe. I tried to look away, but his voice pulled me back. "Now you stay." Hands made of shadows grabbed me from the ground, pulling me toward the bench. I screamed, begged aught. The bench behind me rotted instantly, wood turning black like burned flesh. The man leaned over me. His voice echoed like thousands of angry whispers. "My place. Your turn." I felt darkness crawling into my eyes, and then the security guard tackled me, ripping me away. He dragged me as I kicked and cried until we escaped the park. The man didn't chase. He just sat back down, staring at the ground again, waiting for his next victim. Epilogue, a new occupant. The guard saved me, but not himself. 2 nights later, police found his empty truck near the park. His flashlight lay beside the O's were still tied neatly, but he was gone. Now, every night since, a different park guard patrols Greenwood Park. They don't last long, and whenever I drive past, I see the bench under the streetlight, the man in the hat, still sitting, his coat darker than night. But now, there are 2 people sitting there, the stranger and the guard who tried to save me, both waiting for someone curious enough to look at them, waiting for you. My name is Mark Wheeler. I'm a park ranger in Black Pines Nature Park, located deep in the mountains. It's a beautiful place during the day, tall pine trees, hiking trails, and the dark, silent water of Moonlight Lake. But once the sun goes down, the lake wakes up. People have vanished here. Families, campers, fishermen. They come to enjoy nature, and the lake keeps them. Nobody believes me, but I saw the truth. I watched the lake swallow a human being like it was hungry, the new ranger. When I first moved here, everything felt peaceful. The air was fresh, birds sang, the lake reflected the mountains like a perfect mirror. The senior ranger, Officer Harris, warned me, "If you hear splashing at night, don't go near the water." I laughed. "Why? Big fish?" He looked me straight in the eyes. "It's not fish, it's them." I asked who he meant. He just walked away without answering. The first night, my first night shift, 2:13 a.m. The park was silent, too silent. Then I heard it. Splash. Someone was in the lake. I grabbed my flashlight and radio and ran toward the dock. The moonlight reflected on the water. A person was standing in the middle of the lake. Yes, standing, like there was solid ground under them. Their back faced me. "Hey," I shouted. "Get out of the water, it's dangerous." The figure slowly turned its head toward me, but the body didn't move. Just the head turned, completely around, impossible for any human. I stepped back, terrified. The face was pale gray, eyes blank, mouth hanging open like a dead fish. It stared at me. Then it sank backward into the water without making a ripple. Gone. I reported it, but Harris only said, "They like new people." Campers go missing. 3 days later, a group of college students came camping. They joked about ghost stories, including the lake legends. Night came. They were partying near the shore, laughing loudly. Around 1 a.m., their laughter stopped. Silence. I ran to check on them. Their campsite was empty, but their drinks were still open. Phones on the ground, shoes left behind, no footprints going into the woods, only wet footprints leading to the lake. Then, disappearing into the water, no one found them. Their faces, their laughter, gone forever. Harris's story, I demanded answers from Harris. He finally told me everything. 20 years ago, a school bus crashed into the lake, he said. It was winter. Ice was thin. The bus sank with 23 children and a driver inside. My stomach dropped. No one survived, he continued, but the lake didn't give their bodies back. He leaned closer. The ones who die in Moonlight Lake don't stay dead. The water isn't normal. It feeds on souls, keeps them trapped between life and death. and anyone who gets close joins them. The girl on the dock. One foggy night, I heard crying near the lake, soft, sad, childlike. I followed the sound to the dock. A little girl sat there, hugging her knees. She wore old-fashioned clothes, dripping wet. "Are you okay?" I asked gently. She looked up with empty white eyes. Cold water poured from her mouth when she tried to speak. She wasn't human anymore. She pointed a shaking finger at the water and whispered, "He wants you." Then a shadow rose from the lake, tall, twisted, broken bones sticking out, a skeleton covered in wet moss and weeds. The bus driver, his jaw cracked open, and a voice gurgled, "Join us below." The water around the dock began swirling like a whirlpool. I ran, barely escaping as the dock snapped and sank behind me. The child and the shadow vanished beneath the surface. The marked ones. Since that night, weird things began happening to me. When I looked into a mirror, water leaked from my mouth. Some mornings, lake mud was on my feet, and worst of all, I started hearing voices under my bed. At first faint, then louder, "You will drown. He is waiting. Come home." Moonlight Lake wanted me next, the last patrol. Harris and I planned to drain part of the lake to search for remains. We set up equipment and waited until midnight, when the spirits were strongest. The fog was thick, chilling my bones. Suddenly we heard children laughing behind us. We turned, no one. Then dozens of tiny wet footprints appeared around us. The voices whispered, "Play with us." A pale hand shot out of the water and grabbed my leg. Harris pulled me away, yelling, "Don't touch the water." More hands came out, small, bony, desperate. They clawed the soil, trying to crawl out. Their eyes glowed under the moonlight, faces twisted with pain. Harris fired his gun into the water, useless. The lake roared like a living thing. A giant wave surged out with unnatural force, grabbing Harris. He screamed as it dragged him into the darkness. I chased and reached the shore, but the water became calm instantly. No Harris, no ripple, just silent evil. The truth under the water. I left the park. I tried to run away from the lake, move far from the mountains, but no matter where I was, I dreamed of drowning every night. In my nightmares, the lake showed me what lies beneath. The school bus is still there, windows filled with children pounding to get out, their mouths open wide, screaming underwater. The driver chained to the steering wheel, eyes glowing cold and hungry, and a dark shape bigger than the bus, sleeping beneath them. The lake is a gate. Something ancient lives there, feeding, growing, waiting for more. Harris returns. Last week, I woke up and found wet footprints in my living room, small footprints and large ones. I heard breathing behind me, slow, deep, wet. I turned. Officer Harris stood there, drenched, skin pale green, hair full of algae. He whispered in a bubbling voice. I tried to fight it, but now I serve him. Water dripped from his empty eyes. "The lake wants you," he said, "and the lake always gets what it wants." Back to Moonlight Lake. I know running won't save me. So I returned to the lake tonight, writing this final message by the water. Fog surrounds me. The moon is gone. The lake is boiling, like something is rising from below. Children's heads float on the surface, staring at me. The bus driver climbs out, bones cracking. Harris stands behind me. His cold hand rests on my shoulder. It's time. The spirits whisper, "Join us. You belong to the water, forever." The water is pulling me. I can't resist anymore. If someone finds this message, burn the park, destroy the lake. Don't let it take another soul. It's so cold. I can hear them cheering. There was no signature, just wet fingerprints on the page.